Hey, TikTok. And YouTube, how are we going today? Hey, TikTok. How are you all going today? Hey, YouTube. What's going on? Hey, Ben. I should put something there that I can actually read the text. No. I can't see the text, so apologies if I miss anything. Thank you for the likes. What am I making? I am just doing the body for the Zoomies cat. So we've got the Zoomies Burmese got going on there. So I'm just doing the needle felting for the body. I've got 2 more to do after this, so I've done 5. Well, after this one I've done 5. And I've got 2 more to do after this, which are the lions. But, I might even... sorry. In your shop, can we buy the dolls? Yes, we can. I do offer payment plans too, so I'm pretty flexible with the way that all that works. I basically let you dictate how much and when you would like to do a payment. So yeah, I'm not super strict on when and how much. Or do we just buy the materials for the dolls? No, I sell a couple of materials. I don't have a lot of stock of it, but yeah, I do have my dolls. I do have my dolls in the shop. So all of these dolls that I'm making, apart from the leopard seal, because that's a commission, they will eventually be in my shop. But, I've got a couple of things up there at the moment. The leopard is there, looking for a home. But yeah, I'm pretty flexible. It's not the most achievable price range, but yeah. So once all these dolls are finished, I'll do some stop motions, take some photos, and I'll do a YouTube video as well on how I made it. A couple of videos on TikTok, all that sort of stuff. All that mumbo jumbo. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how these action cats look together. I think it'd be cute. I'm already thinking of the next lot of action cats. Okay, so that's one leg. Actually, I need to get some more of this. I'm running a bit low. Is your shop online? Yeah, it's creaturesinat.com. I've got a link in my bio on TikTok that has a landing page with all of my links in it, including my shop. So it's got Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and all that stuff on there. Everywhere you can find me. I actually need to remove Twitter off there because yucky. I deleted my Twitter, so yeah, I need to update that. But yeah, you can find the link. There. But yeah, Creatures of Nat, basically everywhere. So it's its own standalone shop. I used to use Etsy, but Etsy's very greedy, and yeah, it's just not a nice place to sell anymore. And they're so expensive. The fees are so expensive. So it was actually cheaper to create my own online shop. Obviously, you just don't get the traffic. Creatures of, instead of at, it's OF, of. Just the same as my name on here. I thought about changing my name, but, you know, it's been that for so long. I made it, I don't know, probably 14 years ago now. And I was like, I don't know what to call it. Let's just call it that. Can I go check it out now? Yeah, absolutely. 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 All right, so just doing the leg area here. How's everyone on YouTube going? I don't know if you want me. Are you happy with this view, or would you like this view better so you can see the face? Or this one, just a little bit. You tell me. All right. So I'm trying to get these bodies done as quick as possible. I don't need to be too thorough with the needle felting because it is just the form before I start, you know, doing all the fabric parts. So I'm just doing like a layer on the armature, as you know, like that. Don't drop the dolls. Okay, these ones. So got a big puff. I'll have to go to my crafty store tomorrow and get some more polyfill, I think. These dolls took almost a whole bag of polyfill, which is fine. There is 7 of them. But, yeah. So I tend to use this polyfill, especially for the smaller ones, because it's just a little bit easier to refine the doll. But for the bigger ones, I've been using like batting, which is a bit more of a solid, flat thing, which is fine. It's just not as versatile as this polyfill. But, yeah. So this one's going to have, I'll show you the fabric that I'm going to use for this one. It's going to be a chocky Burmese, chocolate point, or chocolate. So this is like the perfect fabric for it. And then I'm going to airbrush the darker brown bits on. So they've got brown legs and like a brown little mask and brown tail. So I'll airbrush that once I put the doll together. So I'm looking forward, particularly this one. I don't know, the pooping one's kind of funny too. I did go through my stash of fur. The pooping one, I've changed my mind. I was really about the colour. I was going to do it a red, but like I wasn't 100% sold on it. So I wanted to do like a silver tabby colour. So I went through my stash of fur and I found a nice silver colour that I can use. It's like just enough for that cat. So that's what we're going to do. I've got a lot of sewing in the coming days, so I'll have to be sure to wrap my poor little fingies, because I will definitely get a blister. That's all right. So I usually start refining the legs first after I've done like a whole cover, just to build up like the muscle tone around the shoulders and like just the thickness of the legs, and try and get it as close as possible as what a muscle would be. But yeah, here's our kitty. There's our kitty. I have to clean up the eyes. It's really quick color coverage. So that's basically what the mask is going to look like. So I just paint it brown to begin with because I'm going to be using like that really light cream fur. So I don't want the white to show through when I airbrush it. So painting really helps to cover any show through or any bleed through when I'm using dark fur colors. So I usually do that if I do like a black one or something. I'll paint the whole thing black, really haphazard color. Paint job, I should say. But yeah, anyway. Okay, let's do the back one. And this is just polyfill. It's just like a cushion stuffing. So I don't use any alpaca fibers, which what you would normally, or merino wool, which is what you would normally use to needle felt things. But because I'm going to be covering it in faux fur, I don't need to use that fiber. And I'm really trying not to use any animal products in my dolls. So even though they need to be shaved and it's ethically sourced, I try not to use it anymore unless I'm doing like a horse or something, and you can use the fibers to do the mane and stuff. So yeah, I try not to use animal products in my dolls. So it's all like fake taxidermy. Okay. So just going to try and build up this thigh muscle. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I think for the next lot of dolls, because I don't really think this is going to take too long to finish these 7. Once I start doing all the sewing done, it's probably like 60% done, all of them at this stage. The leopard seal will probably be the one that I finish first because that is the commission. And that one has the movable jaw. So I'm trying to think of something to do with the movable jaw next. Yeah, not sure. So I think what I might do, I'm sort of torn between a golden tiger, add that to the list, or a Eurasian lynx. Eurasian, because I haven't done a lynx before, but I've done tigers before, but not a golden. I mean, I feel like I should do a lynx because I haven't done it yet. I've been wanting to do it for ages. But, you know. Okay, so there we've got a basic body. It's got a really funny face. Look. That's giving zoomies, right? So yeah, I'll have to write a list of what to do next. Whether I do 1 medieval cat or I do 3, I don't know. It's hard to decide. Thank you for the likes. All right, so I'm going to chunk this up a little bit. So Burmese are quite stocky kitties. So you're from Colombia. Nice. Colombia. I'm assuming that's what that says. I should just translate it, right? Greetings, yes. I assumed so. I'm in Australia. All right, so I'm just bulking up the neck here. But yeah, like I said, the Burmese are quite stocky kitties. I've got a Siamese as well, which is a different sort of body shape. So that one is quite slender. All right, so bulk this up and then I'll bulk the body up as well, and then I'll start working on like this muscle tone here. And I like to use a single needle. I find I can get a better I could kind of do it a bit faster with a single needle, but you can get holders that hold like 4 or 5 needles. But I don't really like working with it. It's just because it's got the armature in the middle, so it sort of catches on it. So with the single one, you can sort of bypass it a bit easier. Thanks for the likes. Okay. And I mean, the more you poke, the tighter the needle felting gets, and that sort of adds a little bit more stability to the armature as well. And then it's a lot more stable when you sew everything together. So sometimes when you put the armature together and it's just the armature, it can seem a little bit unstable and like you've not used a big enough armature piece. But yeah. Okay. Now I've got reference images up on my computer. The reference image of the Burmese is kind of a kitten though, but you know, I've got a Burmese cat myself, so I know what they look like. Little stocky things. Okay. So that's kind of the neck area. I think that's pretty good. Face. No. Okay, so I'm going to add, just going to have a look at my reference image, compare it. I'm going to add a little bit to the top. So just here. So I'm going to get a big chunk. How long does one creation usually take? Anywhere from 20 to 35-ish hours, just depending on the complexity. So I did a chameleon recently, which that took about 35 hours. So that's a chameleon. So that took about 35 hours just because of all the scale work is all done by hand. But something like, this cat will probably take about 20 to 25 hours. I mean, it's all a long time. But, I've been doing it for almost 13, 14 years now. So I've sort of really refined the process and, I know the steps really well now. So I can sort of do things pretty quickly. But, yeah, reptiles definitely take the longest just because of all the scales and all the little details that need to go into the skin and the sculpt. But, yeah, get back this way. I thought it would have been like a whole week. It used to take a lot longer, definitely. Used to take, the bigger the doll, the longer it takes as well. So I like working with small dolls, even though most of my dolls have turned out too big. But yeah, the big dolls. I've done a couple of Demiguise commissions from Fantastic Beasts, and it was like a toddler sized. And they took quite a long time to make just because they were so big. And one of them, the commissioner wanted LEDs behind the eyes so they would glow blue. So obviously that takes a while as well. But yeah, they definitely take a long time. But yeah, I'm getting pretty quick at making ones like this these days. So I do a couple of them at the same time. So I've got 7 on the go at the moment. It's because I like to chop and change between them. So there's a lot of waiting for things to dry and waiting for things to arrive, like materials and stuff. But yeah, that's 7. Yeah, I've got 3 cats, the Zoomies, which is this one, the pooping kitty, the yawning kitty. I've got a male and a female lion. I've got a leopard seal commission and a Gila monster. A good little selection of things. But yeah, so I'm sort of thinking of the next lot to make. So we're just bulking up the body here. But yeah, I've been challenging myself this year to do things out of my, things that I haven't done. So I've learnt a lot with the chameleon I just did. So doing another reptile. The pooping kitty, I can show you. I've done the body for the pooping kitty. That's a squinty face. But that's it's sort of a British short hair. But yeah, this is the poopy face. Poopy face. Sort of a pouty. And it will come also with its only proper poo. So, it's just silly. You bought the chameleon. Did you? Nothing's come through. Poop prop. I have to. I haven't had anything come through. Are you sure that it went through? Someone had the same problem. They thought the checkout went through, but they didn't actually go through the checkout. Yeah, let me know if you have an issue. Yeah, got to have the poop prop. I thought about doing like a litter tray, but I thought that was too excessive. I thought that was excessive. Come on. Need a little restraint. But yeah. It will also have a bum hole too, which I have also sculpted. Do we have to stick that on? A litter tray, yeah. I thought it might be too big maybe for someone. Too excessive. That's just too far, right? And I was going to include some litter, but I was like, oh, it could be an optional. Could be. I don't know where I'd find the right size tray though, as well. So I thought maybe the poop would just be enough of a prop. Okay. Let's see how we go in here. The armature sort of gets mangled while I'm doing this as well, so you just have to play around with it to get it back into shape. Poor thing gets mangled. I don't know if the head is too long. Let me check it out. I feel like the head might be. I think I'm going to pop off. I reckon I'm just going to pop off maybe 2 segments. I think it's just a little bit too long. Got one off. weird. I just think it was just a little bit too long. I'll just have to find the armature again. I'll pop another one off. I feel. Off, so I'll pop one on. So pop one on here. I feel like the legs might need two. So sometimes when I put it together, I'll have to do like a little adjustment like this because things just don't sit right. Once you get all like the felt on and everything, you can sort of start to see how the body will be constructed, and sometimes they're just a little too long. So just a little adjustment like this. Okay. And I think I need to add I think that's better. Doesn't look so like odd shaped. I think I need to add two more, like two little joints to this as well. Yeah, maybe even three. Okay. So I might even put three on there because I reckon. Oh yeah. Because I reckon it's just a bit too short. So I'll just pop these together. So I'll be adding three little sockets. So 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Of course it pops off too. I can never get the I can never get it right with these, popping them off. Sections right. Okay. 1, 2, 3. This can go over here. I think the back legs should be fine. I will measure it though, but yeah, these are too short. So I'm just going to pull this up. I'm just going to pop that off. That's the good thing about using these ball and socket armatures as well. Like it's so easy to adjust the length of things. Whereas I used to use wire and, it was just, which is fine, but it's a lot harder to adjust things like this. But, yeah, doing it this way, it's a lot easier. I'll just have to add a little more polyfill to this around the bottom of the leg. I don't want this too thick as well. All right. I think that looks a bit better. All right. See how that looks a little bit better. It's just a little bit longer. So a bit too short. And by the time I add some more on here and build this up a little bit, and then it needs to be built up under here a little bit, it'll sort of even that out a bit more. Okay. I'm just going to measure that to make sure I'm happy with that. 3 is a good. 3 is a good length. Okay, so the same for this one. Super easy to pop off. Now these little pliers have one shorter end and one slightly thicker end, and that just means it goes around. The shorter end goes around the male bit, and the other end goes around the female bit. And that's sort of how you can pop it on and off. Oh, this one. So sometimes you can get joints that are a little bit, they either have a hairline crack in it, it just comes from factory, and you usually get like this wobbliness around it, so it shouldn't be that wobbly. So sometimes that's the problem with these ones. There's like sometimes can be like a hairline crack, but I can't see a hairline crack, or either end is just a little bit too small and doesn't fit quite as snug as the rest of them. So it shouldn't move around like that. So I'm going to pop that off and fix that, because we can't have something that wobbly. So it's always something to keep in mind when you're working with these ball and sockets. So it's either this one or this one. I think it's this one that's a problem. It looks slightly different. So I reckon that this one is slightly smaller than the rest of it. So I'm going to pop that off. And I'm going to try a separate one, see if that fixes the problem. So yeah, and it happens with all sizes. So I reckon, see, it's not as, still a little bit. I reckon this size is just slightly too small. I don't think it has a fracture in it. And not that I can see anyway. But what I'm going to do, whoa, that one flew off somewhere. So sometimes if you have a female bit that is a little bit too big or too small, doesn't quite fit, you can just put something in there and that'll make it a tighter fit. And I do that with quite a lot, and see it won't move around now. But yeah, always something to keep an eye out for, because I've had it happen with all of the sizes, especially the bigger one, I think it is. I've had a few with hairline fractures in it, and obviously I just have to either chuck it out, or you can put it on the end of something, because it doesn't hold any weight. So see, it doesn't sort of flick around anymore. A bit more solid, like it flicks around obviously, but it doesn't move around like it was. So there's a little tip for you. Right on the go. These things happen, don't they? Okay, just add a little bit more. So yeah, I find just putting something really thin in there sort of jams up that joint and fixes the problem. But it just comes from factory like that sometimes. I don't know what happens. There's like the tiniest little micromillimeter that's off, and it throws it out. Thank you for the follow, Ray. Oh, hiccup. But yeah, I use this armature quite a lot, this size. So these ones tend to have so they've got a seam line on it. And these ones are, I think, more common for them to have a seam fracture. But you can always tell once you put the skeleton together, you can tell which joint isn't working properly or has the problem. All right. I hope that's not too long now. It's all right. You can always pop it off if it's too long. What I'll do, so it sort of looks a bit weird at the moment. I haven't finished, but it's starting to take shape. So I need to build up this back end bit too, because obviously it slopes down, so we don't, that's not how cat bodies are. Oops, they're not slopey like that. All right, now let's check. I reckon we do need to add a few segments to the back legs as well. So this is the poo-poo joint, I think. Let's put it on here and see if it's actually the joint that the problem is. Thanks for all the likes. No, I think it was, yeah, okay, it was the other joint. That one's fine. That one's fine. It was the other joint. Little section. Now these ones are slightly different because they're newer. It's a different shape, which is a little bit annoying. You can see they're a little bit shorter. It's like a different shape, but they pop in to the other one fine. It just must have changed the shape a little bit. So I'm going to pop off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Too much. Start off with 3. And then see if we like that. Okay, so the back legs, I will pop them off. Pop it off. Pop it off. So just pull that up. And they're super, that landed in the bin. They're super easy to pop off with the pliers. Fluff flying around everywhere. All right, let's see how we like that. Just pull this down. All right, so shape the leg a little bit, and I'll just check if I'm happy with that length. Yeah, that should be fine. 3 looks good. Hey, Cosmic, how are you? Thank you. This one's the Zoomies cat. So just doing a little tinkering with the armature the legs were a little bit too short, which happens once you start needle felting the body. So you just need to adjust with how many segments put in there. So generally I try and do the muscle tone as close as possible to like an actual reference image. So I will add the little, I guess you could call it an ankle joint, once I felt everything else. So we want the legs to be pretty thin still to begin with. And yeah. What are the paws and forks? I sculpt them out of polymer clay. So they have, this one's got a polymer clay head as well that I've added the faux fur to and airbrushed all the pattern work onto it. Yada, yada, yada. Noise. Notice. Noise, noise. Yeah, they're all coming together. It's good to see. But yeah, I sculpt little hearts to them. So same with the feet. Attach it to the armature and then start needle felting the body. That's what we're doing. And then sew the faux fur on. And go from there. Add like the final little details. And that's that really. Okay. Thanks for the likes. Nice. Nice. And pop that back on. Right. So probably just leave that up there. Let's needle felt it a little bit. Yeah, been trying to like think of things to do that nobody else does with my dolls. Hence the action cats. I've been really enjoying how's the other projects going? Good, good. I've got 2 more dolls to felt after this, which are the 2 lions. And then I can start doing all the fabric. So I'll probably start off with the leopard seal. Obviously that's the commission, so I don't want to keep the customer waiting too long, but yeah, I'll probably start off with doing that. I've got the minky fabric here. It won't take me long to finish it. Thanks for the follow. And the Siamese yawning kitty has been felted, so that's ready for fur. And the pooping cat has been felted, ready for fur. This is the last kitty. Gila monster is ready for the fabric as well. That'll probably be like the last one that I do. But yeah, they're probably like 60-65% done. It'd be nice to see them all finished. I have high hopes for the Gila monster. Okay. Cute. All right, let's do. I'm going to add a bit here, I think. So lay the kitty down. And I'm going to add this much to it. And I don't really do it too tight either, and I can always add more once I put the fabric on. I can just sort of jam it in there and, give it a bit more refining. Yeah. Probably going to stay in the live for a while. I get a lot of inspo from. Oh, thank you. Oh. Well, I'm trying to think of the next lot of action cats, like the pose. I'm thinking a licking one, or drinking, licking, probably licking. Licking. What else? Maybe sneezing. Licking, sneezing. I'm going to do 3 at a time. Licking, sneezing. I don't know, what else? What about one of those? That face. That might be a nice one. have I done a baby animal like a kitten? I did a few baby animals for the Calgary Zoo, which was 2 1-month-old red pandas, 2 2-month-old pandas, and 2 4-month-old pandas. I had very specific requests for that, which they use in their educational programs. So I've done those baby animals. I thought about doing, because I've done a lot of the big cats and I've almost finished doing the big cats. So I thought about maybe doing big cat kittens. That might be a fun idea. But yeah. All right, let me do the legs. So we need a bit of bulking here. Cute. Yeah. So I probably will do more in the future. And I think the Siamese cat that I'm working on, it's very kitten-like. But come on, man, don't hijack my live. Anyway. What are they saying? Sorry, I got distracted. Oh yeah, the yawning cat. It's giving Siamese kitten vibes, so it looks like a kitten. All right, so I'm just building up the little arm muscles here. How do you remove comments on here? Why can't I remove comment? Doesn't like let you remove the comment. It's really annoying. Why can't I remove it? You would think a host would be able to remove the comment. Anyway, I think it should give you an option. Yeah, no, it doesn't give me an option to get rid of it. I can pin it or report it, but doesn't say like mute the comment or something. I don't know. I'll work it out. Yeah, it seems so. You would think a host would be able to do it, right? Anyway, they're trying to advertise their website on my TikTok live. Anyway. All right. Now I'm going to add a little bit more to under here. Right there. almost finished his body, which is good. How long does a piece this size usually take? So I can take anywhere from 20 to 35 hours, just depending on the complexity of it. This one will probably take about 20, 25, because it's not an overly complex doll. Just a little bit of airbrushing that needs to happen, which it's not much at all. It's really the muzzle bit will be airbrushed, ears, the legs, and the tail. But oh, thank you. But yeah, something like Chameleon that I finished not long ago. So that took about 35 hours just because of all the scale work. I did all the scales individually and obviously all the scale on the head here. So everything was done by hand. And the feet are kind of posable, really gently posable, but posable. But that is, yeah, one of the longer dolls. So if I do things with like movable jaw as well, that obviously takes longer to do. But like generally around, 25 hours generally. You're magically back. I was thinking about doing, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the game Okami, but I was thinking about doing either Amaterasu or Shiranui. I think Shiranui. Just for like a little personal project. I thought about doing that in the next batch. It's my favorite game. So I would like to be wanting to do one for a while now, like a proper posable. So I thought Shiranui might be a good one. Don't know if anyone's familiar with the game, but it's a good game. It's my favorite. Okami? Yeah, Okami. It was made by a Japanese studio, Clover. Initially, they sold it to Capcom, but it's an old story that they've gone with, like an old mythological story, but it's really heavily watercolored, sumie inspired, which is a Japanese type style of watercolor. And all the gods are like different animals. But yeah, it's like my favorite game. It's like everything I like in a game rolled into one game. You wish you could make realistic dolls? It just takes practice. It's taken me 13 years to get here, so it's not like I just picked up a thing and started to roll with it. It just takes practice, time and practice, Yeah, so do I. I did a lot of dolls a while ago that were very Japanese mythology style. I did a collection not that long ago, actually, but yeah, I haven't done much recently, but I should do another little, at least one doll. But I thought, yeah, maybe just doing Okami would be really good to do. It's for my own little. I've started doing years ago. It's just been on the back burner for so long. If anyone watches Naruto, Kuruma, I started doing the Kuruma doll. I've never finished it. I need to finish it. But I don't think that anyone's into Naruto anymore. I think it's all about My Hero Academia now. I'm too old. I think the Naruto is done and dusted. It's still one of my favorite animes. But yeah, I'd like to finish that because it's been sitting there for 6 years or something, unfinished. There's just a couple of things I had to fix on it, and that just sort of went on the back burner, and I'll get there. I'll get there. We will get there. All right. It's on your watch list. Yeah, just don't. You can skip the fillers. So the fillers are awful. Don't watch the fillers. I skipped most of them. Like I've watched them before, but yeah, just Google which ones are the actual episodes and watch that. There's just so many fillers in that one, that's probably the letdown. But yeah, just skip the fillers, and you'd breeze through it. Yeah, and the same with Bleach. That's one of my favorites. I'm probably showing my age here, but yeah, it's one of my favorites. Bleach. Skip the fillers. The rest of it's good. Fillers. What else is good? I like Black Lagoon. That's a good one. Samurai Champloo is one of my favorites. Bleach is also, yeah, skip the fillers. The only problem with Bleach is so all the other animes, I can pick a favorite character. Bleach, I can't pick a favorite character. Like, there's no one that appeals to me, if that makes sense, which I find really weird. I just really struggle to find a character that I liked in that. Black Lagoon. Have you watched it? I like it. Revy's gold. There's this book series called Warriors. It's based on cats in different clans. And I was wondering, could you make a fire starter from the series? I don't see why not. I usually try to avoid copyrighted characters unless they're like a commission for someone or just like for a personal collection, because they can get really nasty. You love Warriors? I haven't seen it. Black a little bit. Yeah, it's not bad. I like Capitan too. I like that it's all the girls are the strong ones. Being in the fandom for either Warrior fandom or anime in general. I've never heard of it. Sorry guys. What else? Yeah, Samurai Champloo is probably my favorite anime. Both. Yeah, okay. I sort of dropped off the anime a little bit just because, got busy and I just don't have time to watch it, all that sort of stuff. But, yeah, I'm a little out of touch with what's, new animes. I know Attack on Titan is one of the top ones. I've watched like 2 episodes. So much. It's like when you start getting in the refining bit, it just takes a bit longer. Yeah, I only really do it if it's for a commission, really. But I know like Disney's really bad for that sort of thing. Not that it's Disney, but I've got this little piece of nail that needs to come off. Disney's really bad for going after small artists for doing like Disney type things because they don't already have enough money. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what other animes that I liked. Ghost in a Shell was okay. Not my favourite, but not bad. Probably the standalone complex is the better one. There's like so many different Ghost in a Shell. The original one as well is quite good, the original movie. But yeah, I've watched the standalone complex one as well. It's a little bit more commercial, I'll say, whereas the movie's a little bit more niche. Have I watched Cowboy Bebop? Yeah, I've watched that one. It's not bad. Not my favourite, but it's the same sort of I think it's the same studio as Samurai Champloo, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I watched Gantz. That's a weird one. That's weird. It's weird and like super gruesome for like no reason. So if you don't like that sort of thing, don't watch Gantz. These are all kind of old. Fairy Tale. I don't mind Fairy Tale. It's a bit silly. But again, lots of fillers with that one. Yeah, I think I've only watched Cowboy Bebop like once, if I'm not mistaken. What else have I watched? Ninja Scroll, that wasn't bad. That's a movie though, but Ninja Scroll was not bad. It's an oldie but a goodie. Obviously all the Miyazaki ones. What are the age ratings for the animes? I think ones like Naruto and stuff are PG. I don't know if you have the same ratings if you're from the States. I don't know if they're the same ratings. But here in Australia, I think it's PG. Ones like Naruto and My Hero Academia, but ones like Samurai Champloo and all that are an M. So is that 15 plus? I think. And I think Ninja Scroll is R, which is 18 plus. So some of them can be R. I think Ninja Scroll is R, which is 18 plus. But we don't worry about that stuff. Not in Australia anyway. It's free range here. Meh. What's meh? I think yeah, I'm not sure. See, I like stream them though, so they don't even have a rating. Oh, I watched them when I wasn't an adult. But yeah, no. You shouldn't. Don't listen to me. All right. Now, to it's Australia. We don't care. I think things like Naruto and stuff are PG, so it should be fine. PG's, is it 12? It's just parental guidance, I think. Okay, just making a shape of the calf, I'd say. I'm just sort of pushing this a little bit in, a bit further to create that little calf muscle. Well, there was someone else on TikTok talking anime too, so it wasn't just you. Naruto would be fine to watch. There's a couple of like pretty mild ones as well. Trying to think of some. Azumanga Daioh, that's a pretty. It's about like kids at school. They're just like a bit silly. That's sort of an oldie one. Okay, how are we looking here? It's all right. Might just sort of flatten this neck out a little bit. I can't think of any like. I think any of the Miyazaki movies, they're fine to watch. They're actually pretty good. My Neighbor Totoro, that's a good one. Howl's Moving Castle, that's a good one. I like Princess Mononoke, also a good one. I think that's probably my favorite one. But they're all kid friendly, those Miyazaki movies. But yeah, my Neighbor Totoro is a pretty friendly one. Everyone likes Ponyo. 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 Spirited Away. It's a nice one too. Okay. I think this is about looking good. Anything. I'll put a little bit on the tail. Probably won't put any more felt in the tail because the tails are quite thin, so it'll make it too thick, I think. We'll work it out when we get there. Okay, I reckon could possibly do some of the fabric for some of them, just to break it up a bit. Let's flatten this out a little bit. Okay. All right. That's the Zoomies cat. Just about done. Face. Face is so funny. I think I captured the zoominess. All right, so that's basically ready for fabric. All right. Now, just a leopard seal. So Zoomie's kitty. Leopard seal. Hoping this is big enough. So this one is the commission. And I think I'm just going to have to make that neck a bit thicker. Let's see. There. All right. Just going to make the neck a tad thicker. It's not quite thick enough in my opinion. So this looks a bit off. And sometimes when you come back to a doll and have a look at what you've done, it's just like a little bit off. So for this one, I'm going to use some minky fabric. And then I'm going to airbrush the pattern on it once it's all sewn up. for the flippers, I'm going to sew most of the flipper up on the sewing machine. I'm not a big fan of sewing by hand, so whatever I can sew up on the sewing machine, that's what I'll do. Okay. All right. Okay, let's throw the needle. All right. So I'm going to add a little bit more here too. It's like a little bit of a divot in there that I need to add a bit to. You love it, Easy Cooper. A stubby nose. The leopard seal. The little nostrils. Or the Burmese kitty. All right. All right, I think that's looking better. I was a bit off when I came back to it, but now it's looking good. Okay, so this is a much smaller version of my original one, which is good. My original one didn't mean to turn out that big, but it was big. Okay, so this is our leopard seal. We have the movable jaw. It will be covered, so mind all that. It will be covered and it will have fabric in there to close that up. But, all right, let us. So, we've got the minky fabric. I haven't got much of this left, but with minky fabric, it's got a bit of a pile, which is like the length, I guess, on it. So we're going to have to follow the pile. So check out where that goes. It goes this way. Now, so for the body, put it upside down. I want the seam line to be on the underbelly, not on the back. We want that to be nice and smooth. Oh, it's like a perfect length. Don't you just love when that happens? All right, I'm going to fold these so I can get a good length. And where are my pins? I'll drag all my pins out. Okay. Now, It's like a little burrito. A seal burrito. All right, so what I'm going to do, because the end of this fabric has like these little marks on it, which sort of make it a bit messy along here, so I want to cut that off. Or I suppose I can just sew that in. But what I'll do is pin this. It just blinked. So I want to pin this here. So I'm going to pin all this together and then I'll shape it. A little more when I cut the majority off. Imagine having these in your house. Hey, Emily. Okay. Side as well. So I'll cut out the flippers as well. All right, so I think that's probably good. I like have just enough to do this. Now I've got some fabric scissors, and these scissors are really handy for doing things like minky fabric. So I don't generally use the big scissors to do faux fur because it's too hard to get it in between the pile, and you just end up cutting the length off it. So and I'll trim the excess off once I get this bit off. So using the minky fabric's a little bit different as well when it comes to doing the head. So where did this come from? So I sort of did it for the larger one where I've sort of placed it over the top, but I'll do more in-depth stuff with that. Okay, so let's start off with the neck area. This looks like a big sausage roll. What I want to do is I want to poke these armature bits through. I'm just going to make a little hole in the fabric here and cut it. Doesn't matter if it's big. It's not too big, obviously, but big enough to get this through. Because I will be sewing a flipper onto it, so that sort of covers it anyway. And the other one is going to sit. Just make sure it's even here. Okay, and I'm just going to pull this armature through. Feed it through. So I want to keep the seam lines on this as minimal as possible because it is a minky fabric and it is harder to hide the seam lines on this. So we want as little seam line as possible. So I'm going to try and keep it going down here. There will be a seam line that goes around here when I attach the fur. Okay, so for this one as well, we want to sort of cover that bit here a little bit. So I'm going to pull this pretty tight and pin it hard up against the jaw. So when I do the fabric that covers it, the jaw needs to be open so it can get the full flexibility of it. So probably leave that like that. Next bit, so I generally pull this quite tight so it conforms to the needle felting that I did on it. And I want like as little wrinkles as possible. So it's a bit of a time-consuming process just to get all that fabric flat and with as little wrinkling as possible. Again, pulling it tight. I mean, some wrinkling is inevitable. It's going to happen. But as long as we try and pull it tight and pin it. So you see how it's sort of a bit smoother and tighter along here. So it's looking good. So all this will be trimmed off once I've pinned it all together. All right, next pin. So the pins are a bit closer together this time as well, just so it holds the fabric in place. So a bit of excess here. Okay, so we're sort of following this bit here, and you see the pile is going that way as well, so away from the head. Okay, next part. So with the needle felting, this is sort of what all that needle felting is for, so the fabric has something to conform to. I used to do it a different way, but I find this way you can get it a bit more believable. I might add a little bit of polyfill to here just to get that little shoulder bulk. So where is my actually have a little tool that I can shove it in there. Is it? Don't know where it's gone. That's all right, we can find a different tool. And let's use this one. All right, so I'm just going to shove that little bit of polyfill up here just to give that bulk in the shoulder area that I was talking about. So we're getting there. So hopefully it's not too thin. I have to add a little bit here. A little bit in here. Spread it around a little bit. Just to bulk it out a little bit. This all helps with refining the body a bit more. Put a little bit in there. Sort of spread it out a little bit. Okay. Okay. I'll remove that one. Might release this a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. All right, that's better. Again, there's always a bit of refining to do when you get to this stage, especially when you're using minky fabric like this. Okay. And sort of just tapering it off around the tail area. Okay, so we've got this excess flap. So I will cut it a little bit longer just to account for that seam line, but I can always pull it closed a bit better. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. Looks super flat at the moment, but we will get there. And I think what I'll do is probably cut a little bit off that. I could pull this down a little bit actually. Pull it down that way. Okay. So I have to do a separate part for the head. Hello, how are you? I think that's looking good. Good, thanks. Okay. That's about it. Just looks like a big tube at the moment, but we'll get there. Okay. Just going to trim some of the excess off, leaving that seam line there. Excess. And this is also trimming off that bit of the minky fabric that's a bit damaged from the end of the roll. Okay. Don't think I can do much with this excess. Okay, that's basically the body ready to be sewn. Looks very neat. So I'll add more fabric, more polyfill once I start sewing it up, just to, you know, bulk out some areas. But don't want to restrict the posability either. So just have a play around with it before I sew it up. Sometimes you need to take a little bit out just to account for the posability, so it's always good to just play around with things beforehand. so it doesn't restrict things. Okay, I think that's looking all right. I don't know if this bulge is a little bit too thick and restricting out. Certain things. Anyway, so that's pretty much the body ready to be sewn. I might even release that a little bit. This one. I think I need to release that just a tiny bit here. I'm just using a little wooden tool so it doesn't like poke through the fabric or anything. It's just got like little teeth on it that moves around. Okay. It takes a little bit of fiddling around to get a good, see how everything works. But we'll get there. All right. What's the time? 2 o'clock. That's pretty much it from me today. Tomorrow I'll be back with some more guest felting. I'm going to try and get these lions done, so I might do some felting on one of the lions and also do some sewing on this. So yeah, I'll be back from tomorrow at about 12:30 till 2ish again. But thanks for joining me. Much appreciated. Got a fair bit done on these Zoomies kittens. That's good. Anyway, YouTube, I will catch you tomorrow, hopefully.